Hello everyone. In this video, let's do a quick demo of the Chapter 11 Tableau assignment. In Chapter 10, we started to use Tableau to help the companies create ratios. We created a fixed asset turnover ratio, which indicate how efficient a company used the fixed assets to generate revenues. So we use the net sales divided by the average fixed assets to indicate how quickly, how efficient the company is running their fixed assets. In Chapter 11, because we are talking about the depreciation, amortizations, and depletions, which focus on the utilization of the fixed assets. So we have a new ratio we are trying to create. We call accumulated depreciation to fixed assets. This ratio will indicate the current condition of your fixed assets because the more depreciation you already took means we have used more of the fixed assets, you have remaining less values of the assets. Also means we are more close to the time to replace or renovate the current assets. So the condition for the operational management of fixed assets, as we discussed in the class before. So if you are a airline company, right? So you really need to monitor this ratio, like the condition of all of your fleet to see any major maintenance or renovation or replacement of the aircrafts so we can maintain a smooth, safe, and adequate to the customer service. So we are continuing to use the same Excel file we started from chapter 10. So once you open your Tableau, there are different ways. I can connect it to my data directly from the home page. Or from the demo, they start a file first, then connect it to the data source. Okay, either way will work. So if I go from here, I will click on File and a new. Yeah, I think mine is moving to here. So under this new workbook, so first I'm going to click on the data and a new data source, and now it's pop up, okay, like the different data sources you can choose from. So I'm clicking on the Microsoft Excel and pointing to the same financial data for the two companies. Is basically you can see if I start from the home page, I'm basically on the same, okay, like, so getting the same connection as, from the other way. Again, we have an overlook of the data and we only have one worksheet. So like if you have multiple worksheets, we can connect them, link them based upon their logical relationships. So I'm going to sheet one. Same layout, right? So your menus, your main menus, and the quick tabs underneath, and your data pane, tools pane, and where you can, that they call like, the pills, the rows, and the column. And the show me is like the recommended charting type we can choose later. So for this one, we are really doing something similar, but create a different ratio. So first, company on the row and the year also on the row, but I need to change the year from continuous to discrete. And then I need the four fixed assets. And there are four different types of fixed assets in the company's data. So first, I'm pulling the building and improvement and change this again to discrete. And the second is the computer hardware and softwares. discrete. So also another type of fixed assets. Then construction in progress. For me, ideally, I wouldn't put the construction in progress. I wouldn't drag it here because we don't need to take depreciation before a construction is completed. But try to be consistent with the demo, okay, I'm doing here. But if I give a like for myself, I think the correct understanding is I don't really need the construction progress. That's a non-depreciation needed asset. Okay, I probably only have the building, and then the computer and the fixture and the furnitures. Okay, but again, I'm just trying to follow the assignments demo. So this is great. And then finally, the fixture and equipment. So such as your furniture and some other fixed assets in the company. Again, change them to discrete. And finally, I'm getting the accumulated depreciation and is under the name of, so less, okay, be careful, means the less means this is a negative number. That's a control asset. Because when we add it to the balance sheet, it's a minus. Or when we do the formula later, remember this is a negative number originally. So also change this to discrete. And then I'm hiding the original is actually I can do the calculation, create a calculation first, then I can hide all of the original data. So go to analysis and create the calculated field. And this one I believe they call accumulated. So AD, accumulated depreciation to fixed asset ratio. And this one will equal to uh, I will use a parenthesis to use a -1 times the accumulated depreciation, because the less accumulated depreciation itself is a negative number. So I use a -1 multiply and convert it to a positive number, okay, for my formula. So this will be the numerator on the top of your division. Then divide by the sum, be careful, use a parenthesis and add all of the 4 different types of fixed assets. So I'm going back to here. So the first will be the building and improvement. Then plus the computer, hardware, and softwares. Oh. Because it's a long, yeah, we'll put it here. Yeah, it's all right. Then plus the construction in progress. Yeah. And then finally, plus the fixture and the equipment. And then don't forget your right parentheses and check the calculation is valid. Okay, I'm using the accumulated depreciation divided by the total fixed assets, like a percentage or fraction, how much depreciation we have taken for all of the fixed assets. So, okay, and is indicate the condition, like the status of like relative, how much the assets has been used. So the higher the ratio means the older of your fixed assets. Okay, you are more close to the stage for replacement. And I'm dragging this to the row, and now I'm hiding so uncheck the show hider. So hiding. Oh, yeah, already did that. So hiding all of the original variables. Okay. Check fixture and accumulated depreciation. Now I only have the new ratio we calculated, to show in the data, and now I can use the show me and the side to side bar, okay, to show the condition of the fixed assets. I think I can add like the label, click on that and click on show mark label. And now you can see this ratio, okay, like indicated. I can do a sort, from large to small or small to large for both companies. I also like if you want to change the color, you can do it. Or if you want to change the market pin, like this ratio to percentage, I believe we can go from here, go to the arrange, the data column and choose the default property. I can change the number format. I can use a percentage for 2 digits, and now it's indicate. Actually, I like with percentage better for these ratios. So you can see, like I think uh, we can even maybe do a average, okay, like, but the average over years doesn't really make sense. But if you compare the two, like big store and discount goods, overall, which company have a relative newer asset group, or which company? I believe is like you can see the discounted good have a higher ratio, but remember the higher, actually the older, right? Because the higher means you use the more of your assets. So the fixed assets of big store is relatively new than the discount. And by the name, probably it makes sense, right? Regular store is a budget, like a budget store, like a budget airline and a regular main airlines, is understanding. So that's kind of represents their business strategy depending on their, the market focus. But again, we are using these ratios to, to indicate, right, to see the fixed assets conditions and give us insights on management of the fixed assets.